What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Godzilla King of the Monsters Target exclusive Burning Godzilla. And so here we have Burning Godzilla posed and out of the packaging. Now, unfortunately, Burning Godzilla here does not come with any accessories, which is a little bit of a shame. So with that out of the way, let's get a closer look at Burning Godzilla. And so here we have a closer look at Burning Godzilla, and it's the exact same sculpt that we got with the Atomic Blast Godzilla and the original King of the Monsters release. However, he is done in a translucent red plastic, which I do like that. And you can see just how much detailing is on him. If you take a look right here, he is just covered in a lot of detail. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, he has a lot of detail going just along him that he looks amazing. And under these harsh lights, it doesn't look as nice as it should. But if you cover up just a little bit of it, you can see how that red translucent plastic looks with the dark wash going all throughout it. So under normal lights, it looks much better than under my studio lights. But I do like the glowing effect that we get with the studio lights. As you can see right here in his neck, it does appear that he's glowing now. One thing I have noticed about this figure is paint. There's a lot of paint seepage on this figure. If you look right here on his neck, a lot of that orange paint came onto his neck. And this joint was actually stiff. I couldn't get this joint to move, but I did free it up. And I had a lot of issues with that. But I'll explain more when I go through the rest of the figure. But yeah, he has this really nice wash going throughout it. But like I said, under my studio lights, you really can't see it all too well. If I do cover up some of the lighting, you can see some of the details on Godzilla. So I really do like that. Under normal circumstances, it does look like he is glowing. Again, right here, we see a lot of detail just going down his leg. All that nice detail that we saw on the original figure is brought out with these highlights. Just like with the Atomic Godzilla, we do have some veins going down it. Not my favorite thing. I kind of wish that they didn't do that. It looks a little silly, and unfortunately they did it to both sides. I would like to see just the natural progression of the dark and the lights rather than doing these veins, because it just doesn't look right in my opinion. Now, one issue I do have are the spikes. Now, I do feel like his spine right here, I know what they were going for. It's a nice attempt at it, but I feel like the back dorsal spines aren't really that impressive. I really love the way these ones on the side look. If they had found a way to make this, or make these dorsal plates the center spine, instead of making them this bright yellow macaroni and cheese color, if they had made them just like these secondary dorsal plates right here, I think this figure would look so much better, because as it stands, that's the only thing I have against this figure. And I know that's the way it was in the movie, but what they should have done is just molded this in a brighter plastic. And yeah, his central spines right here are a different, they're not part of the actual mold, so they could have actually made those a lighter plastic. But if you look at this spine, that's the way it should look in my opinion, because that has enough yellow, red, and black on it just to bring out all that detail. So looking at the figure, they did go a little heavy-handed on the paint. Now let me try to find the areas that I had issues with. This entire piece right here was completely frozen, so it really wasn't moving. I had another spot right here. That little spot right there was actually glued, well, paint glued right there, so I couldn't move his tail. I did free it up, thankfully, without breaking anything, but the paint job on this is where it kind of suffers on the dorsal spine. If he had more black wash going throughout the dorsal plates, I think he would be a much nicer looking figure, but overall, still an impressive looking figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Godzilla compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Burning Godzilla posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Burning Godzilla posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Burning Godzilla posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we have the Burning Godzilla posed next to the standard release Godzilla and the Atomic Breath Godzilla. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a closer look at his articulation. Now, Burning Godzilla does have the same articulation that we saw with the original and the Atomic Breath Godzilla. So let's run through that really quickly. He does have an articulated jaw. As you can see, it opens really nicely. I do like that. We do have a ball joint in the head, which does only offer rotation. It really doesn't go up and down all too well, but you do get some slight head tilt and some really slight up and down movement. We have a ball joint here at the neck, which really only provides a swivel. It can move forward and back just a little bit, but it's really minuscule. Doesn't really move too much. We have a ball joint connecting into the shoulder, so his arms do go out to about there. He does a full 360, no issue there. We have a single hinge at the elbow, which goes all the way to 90, as well as rotation. We also do have a rotation and hinge right here in his wrist. So it's pretty standard for a Godzilla. We do have a ball joint right here in the torso, which does move side to side, forward and back, but it does feel like it's a little bit stiff. Looks like I'll have to heat that up just a little bit just to get it moving. Hips are on ball joints as well, but they only go out to about that far. They do move in and out, but really minuscule. They would do a full 360, but I'm not going to push it just because of all this sculpt work. I don't want to ruin it. He has a hinge in the knee, which goes forward that much and then goes back. Not too much articulation on his legs. We do have a ball joint in the ankle, which does pivot side to side, does rotate, goes up and down, no problem. Then we have a ball joint right here at the base of his tail, which rotates, moves around. Ball joint right here, going all the way down. So every second segment we do have a ball joint. So everything on his tail is connected via ball joint, and we get some really good movement out of that. I really love the ball joint rather than the wireframe. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Burning Godzilla posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the NECA Burning Godzilla pose for my final thoughts. Now, overall, I really do like the way this figure came out. The black wash on this figure is exquisite, and it looks so much better when it's not under my studio lights. So unfortunately, because of how bright my lights are, you aren't getting the full experience of this figure. If you do have it in hand, the dark wash does bring out a lot more of the details. And like I said, just under my studio lights, it does kind of dull out the effect, but he is overall really done well. Despite the issues I have with the macaroni spines, I still think it looks good under the studio lights. If there's one thing that does look good on this figure, it's the way he looks when the light is facing away from him. You can see the reds and the oranges much better. So overall, I would say pick up this figure if you're a fan of Godzilla, or even if you're just a fan of this particular moment in the movie when he did his radioactive burst. If there's one thing I could improve on this figure, it's giving him some kind of effect. Maybe giving him translucent Mothra wings, because when he did do his radioactive discharge, you could see Mothra's wings in the background. So that was actually something I really wanted to see with this figure. Other than that, I still recommend him if you're a fan of Godzilla, enjoyed King of the Monsters, or just want a really awesome Godzilla in your display. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other NECA and Godzilla videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.